Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the TJR Auto channel. My name is Tyler. This right here is my 2004 GTO named Gemma. And in today's video, I want to hear this bitch run. So obviously, just by looking at this thing, it needs a little bit of work, well, a lot of bit of work, to actually get it to fire up. Now, you got to think, for a first start, you really don't need a cooling system and all that kind of stuff. So there's quite a few things that we can avoid just to be able to hear this thing run finally. But here is my list that I made. You can pause it to take a look at it. But one of the first things that I want to take care of on this list is fixing these lovely long tube headers. Here are my SLP long tubes that, when I got this car, they came with them, so I have no reason to upgrade them because these are perfectly fine for me. Obviously, very crusty, dusty, and beat up. I don't really care. It is what it is. But what we need these to do is to seal and to function properly. Now, the previous owner, it would appear he took this thing to an exhaust shop to get the exhaust done that was on the previous setup. They, of course, did the exhaust shop special and welded all the way around on the header collector rather than just clamping it or doing something right for once. They, of course, had to booger weld it, and they didn't seal the top whatsoever, and it's just not good. So the agonizing part of today is going to be grinding these welds off, either grinding or cutting them. I don't really care, whatever gets this shit off. But I need to cut this piece off. Same deal on the passenger side header. And then on the exhaust that me and my buddy Petro built, shout out to my boy Mike, he has been such a help with this car. You guys probably can't see it from there. But when we pulled the engine out, the blown up engine, we could not get this piece here is fit into a slip joint on the new exhaust. We couldn't get it out. So we basically just cut it just to be able to get the motor out. And now I'm going to have to get the pieces out of the slip joints on my nice exhaust. And I need to get these off of the header collectors so we can make it all new. Because we want to do it once and do it right. Usually. I do about 3 times that because I don't do it right the first time.
Alright guys, so we got a 5-wire mass airflow going on here. So I can't really show you while I'm doing it, so I might as well just show you now. These 3 should be mass airflow wiring, and we got these 2 here that should be IAT. And this is the IAT sensor from the GOAT, and 3-wire mass airflow. So we're pretty much just going to connect these 2 into here, so we got 1 sensor. Some people do that apparently on GTOs. Makes more sense to me than having 2 sensors, so that's what we're doing. Alright, checking back in. So you probably saw a time lapse of this, but this is relatively done. We'll let Tyler loom this when he wants to, but here's your 5-wire mass airflow. Hopefully we pinned it right. Yeah, I don't know. Tyler could put up the pin out if anyone else wants to do this online, but went pretty smooth. We rerouted it from over on this side of the loom, so we can hide it back in here a little bit and tuck it down in there. Yeah, should work, and then we'll get it to loom up. On to the next thing.
As I had you passed off to Alex so he could play with the new 5-pin MAF, which actually came out really nice, looks super good. So Alex, thank you for that. I took care of the header situation. I didn't even bother filming it because it was sort of a shit show, not really. I'm not going to show you that one because, yeah, I learned that I needed to preheat the header itself because the Amazon stainless, of course, was burning quicker than this was. So with this preheated and then this just raw thrown on and welded, This side definitely came out better than that side, so don't look at that. And then I cut down some 3-inch pipe that slips from here to here. I don't know if it fits yet because I just eyeballed measured it basically off of the old shit that came off. So I think we're going to throw the headers on now. And then while we're under there, we can also play with hooking up the oil pressure gauge. Alrighty, guys. Well, this is how much left on the list we have to do before the car can realistically run. So right now I want to take care of the oil pressure gauge. Alex hopefully is coming back today. He's going to be bringing the special little fancy fuel line disconnector tool so we can take off that stock fuel line and make the new one out of AN fittings. So that'll be pretty nice. Still need to just confirm that the crank pulley is on all the way, which I think it is, and then throw in the new bolt and torque it down. And then the alternator wiring, and then throw in the full exhaust and fluids. So we're looking pretty good, and I honestly could not be more stoked with how this thing's looking. So let's get under this thing. Let's figure out how we want to do the mechanical oil pressure gauge, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, guys. So before we start the oil pressure gauge install, I might as well show you. Have the drive shaft in, and clutch line's all tied up. Trans is all plugged in, so it's all good. Trans is basically ready to be filled. And here we have the headers with the O2 sensors installed. Don't mind the blood. That definitely was not from me. But if we move up here, it's a little awkward under here. All right, so up under here on the back of the oil pan, for anybody that has a GTO, you may have noticed at some point in time that you have two little plugs basically in the back of the pan right where my middle finger is. So I'm leaving the back plug in. Actually, funny enough, the eBay pan didn't even come with the plugs. So what I had to do was steal these plugs out of my original pan. So the one plug in the back, I already ran that one in, tightened it down. I did throw some thread sealant on it, so hopefully that works. And then here, where all these lovely fittings are, these are all the fittings that came with the Bosch oil pressure gauge. So stacking them on top of each other, they fit in there nicely. The only problem I'm going to have is trying to get the oil line, which they supply you with a plastic oil line. I have no idea if this is temp resistant or not, so I dug up some old like wire wrap. So I have I'm gonna have two coatings on it anywhere near the headers. Hopefully that buys me a little bit of time until I either do a electronic gauge or a copper line for this. But basically I'm just going to be running those fittings into there, and then I'll show you guys however I end up routing the line. The goal is basically to just get it up towards the windshield. So let's get it. We got Mr. Webkey Racing here once again. Thankfully, I was able to steal him a little bit, and he now made the car look like a hammerhead shark. But we think everything is done. We got the exhaust on. I did the drive shaft this morning. The list is completely, through and through. Oil pressure gauge, I don't think I covered it, but I accidentally may have twisted the line when I was pulling it up. So I had to cut it short, and this is basically as far as the gauge goes. So this is where we're going to be monitoring it from. It's definitely mounted really, really solid. That's good stuff. But we threw oil in it. Actually found out the dipstick doesn't work on the GTO pan because it's right by the compressor, because the eBay pan is not in the same spot as the normal pan. So a lot of just stupid shit show stuff we ran into, but everything should be hooked up. We'll also have to get another AN fitting to do the fuel line. So we just hooked the old one back up, but it should be fine for now. Anything I don't need is just zip tied out of the way. So we're going to put power to the car for the first time and see what happens. With the battery connected, it didn't burn down yet, so I'll call that a plus. But Alex has his computer fired up. We're going to turn the key for the first time, and download the tune off the car to send to the tuner. And then once we get the startup tune, we can actually fire it.
Ready? I guess. Is that exhaust? Yeah, I think it's pop a little bit. Sounds very loud. Yeah, it does. Fire it up. Great. That sounded like a backfire, but it also didn't. Yeah, I don't know. And which way did the sound come from? Front or back? Oh, okay, so that's fine then. It was definitely tailpipe. Lock it, right? Well, you got oil pressure. How much? I don't know. It didn't. You killed it. So.
That didn't sound that happy.
It's not fine. It's just idle high.
That too.
I mean, I didn't check your installation on that cable. I mean, it's definitely.
It should be on. That sounds like it's a fucking grenade.
Fine.
That smells great. It ran.
Yeah, fire back up.
We have a running DPI. I like that. It sounded like a lot of backfires and it smells like shit.
Yeah.
But also, there's very little gas in the tank.
And there's not a tune.
And there's not tune.
And the mass airflow is not even tuned at all.
Oh, dude, it's gonna run like shit then. 100%. Yeah.
That
makes sense. It ran though. I like that.
Not happy. Try it again. You do one more.
And right there, ladies and gents, you are looking at two Australian hunks of metal that have built 6.0s, and they both run. That's good. I like that. Alrighty guys, well, I'm beyond stoked that we finally got to actually hear the 6-liter run, and it runs really, really well, surprisingly. I don't know. I wasn't sure if I, tuned it right and put the heads together correctly and the oil pan situation and stuff, but we had beautiful oil pressure. We didn't have a lick of smoke coming out of the exhaust. We only had some smoke coming off the headers, just from insulation with oily hands and whatnot. And I may or may not have spilt some oil on the passenger header when I filled it with oil. But overall, we were looking really good. The car didn't even drip a lick, so that's awesome.
Break me down and make me weak again. After all, I called you my best friend. And I've been here, I know the story ends. With broken hearts and us playing pretend. Break me down, down. Break me down. Break me down, down. Break me down.
Alrighty guys, well, obviously we got everything wrapped up and clearly the car is spun around, and that is because the car drove out of here on its own power and it came back in under its own power. So we went for our first test drive. The tuner requested a 10-minute drive based just off of a 10-minute idle log that we did as well. So far everything is looking good. Having a weird problem on HP tuners not showing RPM. Don't know if that's something, you know, a sensor is wrong or bad, or if it's just something in the software, but we drove it. So the GTO officially now is a running and driving, I guess you could say, heads cam intake, full bolt-on, whatever, 6.0 swap GTO. This is our first tune revision for actually driving the car. Tuner made a couple adjustments. We did a 10-minute drive prior to this, and then a 10-minute idle to start everything off. So we did a 10-minute idle, 10-minute drive, and now we're going to be doing another 10-minute drive. It was breaking up a little bit last time, around 2,500 to 3 grand. So he said he made a couple adjustments, said drive it a little more aggressive. So not doing anything crazy, but we're probably gonna do one more drive around the block, call it a night, and resume this tuning another day. But, oh, and of course there's a car. Yeah, but so far, everything's going well. Alex is here with the HP tuner setup, logging everything. So that's all that fancy stuff. I don't know where the curve is. Let's see if we hit it. Nice, good guess. That feels pretty good. That's me easing into the pedal, so that's it's not bad. It feels really good right now. Definitely feels better than the first drive, I'd say. There's a car flying up the road. Feels good though. Wow, this thing spins pretty easy. I think that might have been, I don't know if that's wide open throttle or if that's the cable getting weird. 'Cause
I can check TPS.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's where we're going to be wrapping up today's video. Car went, everything was going good, and then Well, as you could tell by that sudden audio drop, the microphone died at this point, and I spoke for about another 4 minutes, but I won't bore you with that long of talking. So, as I just said, this is where we're wrapping up today's video. This past week, we honestly made some crazy progress with, the GTO, clearly, because now the thing runs and drives, which is pretty goddamn cool, if you ask me. So, it's been a long time coming. I think the car has been down for roughly a month and a half, I want to say. It blew up the week of Christmas, I think. So, yeah, something like that. But anyways, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Webkey. He was a big help with wrapping this thing up and, helping me out with the whole tuning setup and whatnot. I used Derek Dunbar. I believe he's DD Tuning or something like that on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that. Super easy guy to work with, super good. And at this point in time, we have a few tune revisions on the car. Things been running and driving great, but as you can tell, the car is sitting in a parking lot in this video, and that's because in that very dark clip, the car broke down on me when I was driving it home from Webkey's house. So, with that being said, you guys have to tune in next week to see what the hell happened to the car and if I was able to fix it or not. And let me just tell you, it's been interesting. So I'll leave it at that. But as always, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are so supportive, and I say it in a lot of videos, but you guys always do push me to continue on with content in the cars and whatnot. So seriously, big thank you to all of you. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you're subbed. Make sure to drop a like and drop some comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. All I know is I am beyond stoked to be behind the wheel of this beast again. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.